Hello and welcome to Torchlight Paranormal. I'm your host Kieran. Thank you for joining. Tonight we're going to be looking back over our investigation at Brean Down Fort. Brean Down was our second ever investigation with Torchlight Paranormal, and it was one of the best investigations I think that we have ever done. Brean Down Fort sits on top of the cliffs looking out over the Bristol Channel across the Western-super-Mare, and it's an absolutely gorgeous view. If you ever get a chance to visit Brean Down, I highly recommend going to check it out. It's owned by the National Trust, so if you're a National Trust member, you'll be able to get in for free. But it's definitely worthwhile checking it out for sure. Before we get started with the video, as always, if you enjoy this content and you're enjoying our evidence, then please consider subscribing to the channel. Support the channel where you can. Any support you guys can give, whether it's just a like or a comment or even just a view of the video, then that is enough. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you'd like to comment on our evidence and what you think of our evidence, then please let us know down in the comments below. It'd be great to have a discussion with you guys. But without further ado, shall we get started? Let's go.
This is C.P.G and T.P.I at the Brean Down Fort. If there's any spirit persons or anything that would like to come forward, all we want to do is take photographs and video you, or even if you'd like to come to the voice recorders and say something in the voice recorders, you can do. All we want is just some evidence that you are in this building or in this place. If you don't mind, please. Thank you.
I'm going to turn on my phone onto record so you can pick names. What was the question? Come on. Now, one thing that you will hear pretty much straight away, pretty much throughout this whole investigation, is the sound of a mobile phone. For those who are a younger audience, that is the sound a mobile phone used to make on technology when you knew it was about to go off. Now, one strict rule that we always have during investigations is that you turn your phone off, but if you can't turn your phone off, you put it on airplane mode, because that just means that signals won't come through. However, on this occasion, someone didn't put their phone onto airplane mode, and unfortunately, we were plagued with this sound coming through. Now, one thing also that mobile phone signals does, which a lot of people don't realize, is that they set off K2 meters. So you will notice on this investigation that K2 meters are going off, and this just proves how inaccurate K2 meters actually are for paranormal investigation. If you needed any more of an excuse not to use K2 meters during an investigation, this is the reason why. The fact that you can hear the mobile phone signal going off and then you actually see the lights going off as well just goes to show just how sensitive these devices are, and that's why I don't use them anymore. But just please be aware that any time that we get hit on the K2 meter, it's always with a mobile phone signal, because you will hear it as it's playing through.
Right.
Hold on.
Just walk out there with your phone. Yeah. Right, go back again, quick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's my phone.
Can I ask you, was your phone on before when we were in the other room?
It was on, yeah.
But
I'm going to turn it on. Was it flight mode you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it will still give off. The battery will still give something off, but...
I don't have... I've got outdoor, I got flight mode.
Was that an animal, or was that...
I don't have... I've got outdoor, I got flight mode.
Was that an animal, or was that...
So you can hear, just as I mentioned, that I don't have flight mode, I've got outdoor mode. It was a new phone, I didn't know how to use it, and yes, it was my fault. You will hear Jess going, oh, 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 because you hear what sounds like a sigh. It's quite high, it's quite loud, and everybody heard it, but it sounded like it was coming from outside the room. You could hear it almost on the wind. We cannot categorically say that this was paranormal because there's so many people in the room, and it could have been anyone just sighing at the fact that a phone had gone off, but it could also have been just the wind, and we can't guarantee it for sure, but it's still an interesting piece to include. I've got outdoor, I've got flight mode.
Was that an animal, or was that a scream?
It sounded like a scream.
That was just...
Is your phone off?
My phone's on.
Right, Kieran, your phone off.
It's your phone, Kieran.
I'll turn my phone off then.
Turn it
Yeah.
off. That's... It's your phone, Kieran.
I'll turn my phone off then.
Turn it
Yeah.
off. That's... It's your phone, Kieran.
Shortly after I say I'm going to turn my phone off, you can hear a whistle. Now, before I up the audio on the second part for you to be able to hear it again, you can just about hear the whistle. But by upping the audio, it takes away the original audio sound. So it means that it's not a direct voice phenomena because I've altered the sound. We can't, again, categorically say that this was paranormal because it could have been the wind blowing through the building, creating this whistling sound. But again, it's still an interesting piece to add in because only a few of us heard it at the time. We didn't all hear it. Only a few of us heard it. And what's quite interesting is that Jess, who's my partner, she is very skeptical of the paranormal. So for her to have these two initial things happen and for her to call it out was quite interesting with her being this skeptical. Turn my phone off then.
Turn it off. That's...
My phone was off.
Alright.
That was like another almost like... Hey, I hear whistling.
Sorry, please. I'm going to
What's the morning you need to be quiet?
Can you wave your hand across it? I bet you can't, Come on, try it. That is amazing. Thank you very much.
Kieran, have you definitely got your phone on?
I just turned my phone off.
Oh my god.
Has anyone else got their phone on?
I've
got my phone on, but... Can you stop doing it now, please?
Is that a response to yes or what?
Is that you saying? Now, with this, we cannot say that it's paranormal. Any K2 spike that we get in this investigation, we have to debunk it straight away because of the interference with the phone. Now, just because you're not hearing the sound, it doesn't mean that the mobile phone signal is not setting off the K2 meter. So this, unfortunately, we cannot call paranormal. And I would argue that you can never call anything with a K2 meter paranormal because it picks up mobile phone signal. Yes, if it is, can you make the lights move to full again, please?
Gunnar Haynes, was that you that just lighted all them
Are
lights?
you in your 20s? 30s?
So, there's a lot to digest here in this episode. there you can hear the sound of gravel outside. Now, the whole area of Brean Down, I'm not sure if it's still the same now, but it was at the time all gravel. So you'd be able to hear if someone was walking outside. Nobody was outside of that room. All of the investigators were accounted for. We were all in the room doing this vigil to try and get the K2 meter to go off. There was no one outside. Having said that, it's an outdoor location. While it is a long walk to get from the visitor centre to Brean Down, and it's right on the edge of a cliff, and it's quite not treacherous to get there, but it's not necessarily an easy walk to get there, there's no guarantee that there wasn't someone there. While you'll see that Les and myself go out to try and investigate to see that there's no one there, we cannot guarantee for a fact that there wasn't someone lurking around in the darkness.
Are you in your 20s? 30s? Are you in your 20s? 30s?
Did you hear that? Like running out there?
Yeah.
No. Did you not hear that?
No. Are you in your 40s?
It's actually really warm in that room.
Are you in your teens? Are you over 10 years
I thought I saw someone in that doorway. I swear to God I saw someone standing in that doorway.
So, Les and I go outside to investigate this noise, and as we're walking back through the fort, I thought I saw someone standing in the doorway of one of the buildings. Now, it's very important to note that that building there, the reason I rushed over there was because that was our base camp. That is where all of our stuff was. When I saw this person standing in the doorway, or what I thought was a person standing in the doorway, my mind straight away went, there's someone there, they're stealing our stuff. So that's why we rushed over. There wasn't anyone there. What I thought I saw, I'm about to describe in this clip. So I'll let me describe it to you from the past.
And I'll tell you exactly what it looked like. It's going to sound really random, but it looked like a woman in a dress, a white dress, just standing in the doorway like that.
And over there where we are.
Looking where we are, and as we were coming here, I didn't have my torch on it, and I saw the outline of it. Right. And when I went like that, it disappeared. It's almost like she was just standing here, just looking at us. Whew, bloody hell. I want to see, you want to turn around and see if I can see it again, whether or not it's just a trick of the light. Because when I saw it, it was right here. And I had my camera down like that, maybe like that, and I saw, just in the doorway, it's the white shape, and it looked like she was wearing thin top, big bottom, and she was just standing there like that, just looking at us.
Oh, right.
And judging by those pictures that are on the wall, possibly, because that's the kind of people that would have come here, wearing those kind of dresses, but I'm just assuming now I'm not in the bridge, and I thought someone was coming towards us. So I went, hello, hello, but there's no one there. Did you hear that?
I heard that.
Did you hear that, Les?
Where?
Over there.
Now, that sound that we heard was not caught on camera. It is very important to also note that this investigation took place in August, so the height of summer. Across the channel from where we are, you had the pier, the Weston-super-Mare Pier, that had the Ferris wheel on. It also had all the arcades and the rides. So you could hear noises coming from there that was being carried on the wind. So some of the moans, some of the noises could have been voices being carried across the wind from Weston-super-Mare. So we can't guarantee that that's not what the noises are, but some of these stuff is still very, very interesting indeed. We're going to go on to what is technically part 2 of the video, but we're going to do all 3 parts together in this one video.
Is anybody in this room? That sounds really far away, doesn't it? Like an echo, distant echo.
Of you. Of you. So, we have come down to what would have been the underground ammo storage for the base. We have got Andy, Kevin, Les, myself, and Jess. We've come down to check the trigger object, of which we've got a horseshoe on a piece of paper. We've drawn around the horseshoe. This was our trigger object to see if anyone would be able to move it. I'm going to just let this play, and we're going to talk about what happens after we've let this play, but just listen very closely.
Gonna hang. Are you in this little cellar? Are you with us tonight? Can you do that again for me, please? Oh, wow. Do that again for me, please.
Okay, so before you hear the "oh wow," there is like almost like a growl sound beforehand. Can't guarantee that this wasn't the echo of a voice of someone asking, because these are two corridors that run side by side. Can't guarantee that's not what it was. You hear the growl and you hear someone say "oh wow," and they're saying "oh wow" because they're getting the K2 meters going off. Obviously, we don't know about the mobile phone signal at the time. We're just assuming that this is going off. So while you're in that moment, you're getting quite excited about it. So for us at this time, we're getting excited about the K2 meter, but now obviously in hindsight, we know this is not the case. So that's why the "oh wow" was said. The growl wasn't heard at the time.
Oh, wow. Do that again for me, please. Oh, wow.
Come on.
Jess.
Moved absolutely crap loads.
I think it's. I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
If we reset that, I'll put my camera. And then we put it on it.
Yeah.
So we've got one pointing down there, and we've got one pointing down the horseshoe.
Right, you'll agree that's pretty much essential. Now, this next piece, you will have heard the noise just before I stopped. This has to be, for us, one of the most compelling, in my opinion, one of the most compelling pieces of evidence that we have ever caught. I adjust the horseshoe and I set it back into the outline that we had drawn around it, because we'd seen it move and we wanted to see if that happened again. So we set it back up again. I come up from sorting out the horseshoe, I put the camera through the gate, and just before I ask a question, if there's any spirit person they want me in contact, that sort of thing, you hear a noise. I'm not going to tell you what it is until afterwards. I'm going to replay the clip. I want you guys to, just for the next few moments as you're listening to that clip, have a think about it, and then I'll tell you what we believe this noise to be.
Yeah.
On it.
Is there any spirit person down this tunnel who would like to make contact with us?
Yeah.
On it.
Is there any spirit person down this tunnel who would like to make contact with us?
Yeah.
On it.
Is there any spirit person down this tunnel who would like to make contact with us?
So, it sounds like a little girl crying, and it sounds like it's right next to the camera. You can even hear the kind of sharpened breath as it sounds like it's crying. This piece, when we recorded it, we didn't hear it at the time. We had no idea we had captured it. It wasn't until I was looking back at the footage the next night at like 3 o'clock in the morning that I heard this noise, and it really freaked me out. We then did a talk in 2011 at York Spookfest, and attending that talk was a parapsychologist by the name of Dr. Kieran O'Keefe. And I played this clip for Kieran O'Keefe and said that this is personally I thought one of our most compelling pieces. And he asked if we had a chance to go back to the Brean Down Fort to replicate it and try and get to the bottom of it. And I said, unfortunately, they don't allow groups there anymore, so we weren't able to go back. And he said, as it stands, with all the information I'd supplied him, he can't explain it. I showed him this clip as well to show that there was no one else around, and he couldn't explain it. So for me, I find that quite interesting. I'm going to leave it up to you to decide as to what you think of this clip, of this sound, and let me know in the comments below what you think this could be. I'll leave it up to you. But let's carry on.
Would you like to speak to Kieran?
We heard you when you spoke before. If you can speak into this little black device I've got in my hand, don't be frightened of it.
Can you touch one of us?
With this piece, we can debunk this straight away. This is Les going, huh? We know that straight away, so we can debunk that without question. We were fairly new to investigating at this point. Maybe investigated for about 2 years. Fairly new to it, not really had that much experience with it. So we were still quite naive into thinking that, if we whispered and not tagged anything, then it wouldn't matter. So unfortunately, on this occasion, we didn't tag anything. So that is a team member and not something paranormal. So Singapore theory, as I mentioned in our previous video at the Ostrich Inn, the Singapore theory is a theory that if you can recreate an event that happened for a location, then you might be able to spur some paranormal activity to happen. Now, obviously, this is just speculation. This is just a theory. There's no actual science behind it. But with this one, because the fort was used during World War II to position soldiers there to protect the Bristol Channel, I thought it would be a good idea to play We'll Meet Again, in the hopes that maybe that music will inspire someone and maybe someone will come and get involved. Because it was also used during the Napoleonic War as well, I thought I would play some music from that time to see whether or not that would entice any paranormal activity. So what we're going to see here is this clip happening. Nothing comes from it. Okay, so with this scene here, we were doing a lone vigil, myself and team member Kevin. We're trying to ask the spirits to get them to move the K2 meter. At the time, we did not know that it was the wind that was blowing the K2 meter. So when this moves, it's not paranormal. It is just the wind. At the time, we couldn't feel a wind moving it, but that's exactly what it was.
Let's do it again, guys. Thank you. I've got the camera right on it.
voice or speak through the red light. Can you tell us your name? Can you tell us your name?
So we've got myself, Kevin, Andy, and Les, and we are in the shower room of the old fort, and we're asking out for things to happen. We catch what we think is the name James. This was very loud at the time and very clear, and you hear a voice. I'm reluctant to say that this is paranormal because there was 4 men in the room and one of us could have muttered without even realizing it. But why would we have said the name James when there's no one in the team called James? A little bit strange, but it could have been subconscious. We could have just said a name without even thinking about it. But let's just carry on listening.
Can you tell us your name? 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 Well, my name's Les anyway. How's you do? That sounds a bit closer.
With this piece, I'm whistling to try and get a response to see if something will whistle back, and we hear a cough. Now, to give you some clarity and to be completely open and candid with you, you've got Andy, myself, Kevin, and Les are inside the shower room, and at the other end of the fort, at the far end of the fort, you've got 3 women. You've got Jess, Candice, and Chezzy. They're the 3 women on their own in the room at the far end of the fort. I ask for this to happen. We hear a cough. This cough sounded really, really close, almost as if it was just outside of the room. Now, the ladies were at the far end of the fort, which is a good minute's walk from where we are. We cannot guarantee that this wasn't being carried on the wind, of course. It could have easily been carried on the wind. So that's something that we have to think about with this piece. While it did sound really loud and it's really clear on the camera, it could have easily been carried on the wind. Not saying that it's not paranormal, of course it could have been, but I have to have a look at it logistically and, scientifically as well.
That sounds a bit closer. That sounds a bit closer. Did you guys just cough? Hello, did you guys just cough?
As far as I know,
Everything's fine.
yeah, looks like it. I just want to shine your torch on that. Sorry. Which one?
Okay, to give you some background, what is a trigger object? Well, a trigger object is objects that could be relevant to an area that you would leave out for the spirit to manipulate, to move. Usually it would be, if you're in a church, a cross. You would draw around this cross to see if it had moved outside of the drawing, much like we had with the horseshoe. This is a tray of items which we took on every single investigation. We would cover them in flour and we would leave them in an area that would be completely locked off and no one would be able to go to it. And it would just kind of confirm that if they were manipulated with, then we would know about it. I have to be completely candid with this next piece. We put these into a room which we strictly said was closed off, and I trusted everyone in the group. We said, completely lock this off. We're not allowed to go into this room. We even put motion sensors right next to the door, so if anyone did walk into the room, it would send off the motion detectors. Just watch the next piece and just bear that in mind for what happens next.
See where the bell is there?
Uh-huh.
Is that an actual fingerprint?
Oh, looks like it.
Yeah.
So it looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Can you take a photograph of that? What's your eyes on it?
Yeah.
Can you take the light off it, man?
Oh, we have to say, one of the trigger objects over there with flour around it, there was a snail eating the flour.
I killed the
right.
snail.
You can take a picture as well.
If you want to get closer a bit, Jess, because there is actually a...
I moved the
Okay.
snail and then stepped back and heard a... Oops.
It must be dead then.
Where's the...
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Nice squeeze.
It's just beside the bell. Looks like there's a fingerprint on it.
Oh, I see.
So she stepped back with my phone.
Okay.
Okay.
That's quite
You getting
interesting.
there, man?
So I asked for trigger objects to be manipulated or moved or...
Yeah.
What is it?
It's like a fingerprint.
It's like a fingerprint.
See it there, look.
No. Oh, yeah.
See it?
The ball has moved. The bell has moved. That's what it is. The bell has moved around the corner there.
So, trigger objects, we didn't have a camera on it. So all of this stuff, although it's kind of cool, we cannot use as paranormal evidence because we didn't have a camera on it. And the reason we didn't have a camera on it is because we didn't have the budget to have another camera on it all night. That is just the problem when you're investigating on no budget. What you're going to see next is the pictures taken at different times. The first picture was taken at 10:15 at night, pretty much when the trigger objects were set up. The next picture is taken at 7 minutes past 12. So 2 hours, two and a bit hours later, to give you an idea of the time scale. We were there from 10 o'clock, from about 7 o'clock at night till about 6 o'clock the following morning. So we were there all night. But it took us a while to set up, and we're waiting for it to get dark, with it obviously being the summer. That took a wee while. So we set up the trigger objects 10:15 for that time. And then about 2 hours later, we noticed that they've moved. Leave you guys to mull over these pictures and make your own decision from it. But please bear in mind that I cannot use this as evidence because we didn't have a camera on it.
Well, we said, oh, and you went, oh, no, it has definitely moved. So when we were down taking the... Oh, we said, oh, and you went, oh, no, it has definitely moved. So when we were down taking the... Oh, we said, oh, and you went, oh, no, it has definitely moved. So when we were down taking the...
So, as we're discussing the trigger object movement, you can hear what sounds like a growl. Now, we cannot guarantee that this was not someone's stomach. It could have easily have been someone's stomach that was just caught on the recorder. And also, I had the camera down by my waist, so it could have even been my own stomach making that noise. But it's still an interesting piece. Again, we didn't hear it at the time.
Oh, was that when you joined on the...
Aye. We're taking... Said, when we were down taking the...
Oh, was that when you joined on the...
So, there we have it. I really hope that you enjoyed that investigation, and we had a lot to digest then, a lot to go over, and there's quite a lot of evidence caught on that investigation, and this has to be one of our most compelling investigations. But a lot of the stuff we nowadays, looking back on it in hindsight, we can rule out as not being paranormal. But I will leave that up to you to decide. It's not my job to tell you that what I've caught is real. It's my job to present my findings and say, make your own decision. I'm not going to tell you what I think, but I really hope that you enjoyed this slightly longer video. And if you did enjoy it, then please subscribe to the channel, support the channel where you can, and I'll make more of these. But guys, again, subscribe to the channel, support the channel where you can, give the video a big thumbs up, and please let me know in the comments below what you make of our evidence that we found at Brean Down. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I'll see you again. Bye-bye. Sister Premiere, head out to Brean Down Fort. You will not be... Skated the Brean Down Fort back in August 2020. To Weston's... Before we get started, as always, if you enjoy this video and you enjoy what you see, then please consider before we start this video, as always, if